Good morning, everybody. Welcome to your Growth Day morning show. Let's talk about momentum. Let's talk about how you can be patient on the long drive to your success. We are joined by none other than Jamie Kern Lima today, who has right now a journal best-selling book called Believe It. If you haven't got it yet, please do. I think you will absolutely love it. And I'm really excited today to chat about momentum because she's maintaining book momentum. You all are training, momentum in your projects, in your new years. You're trying to stay focused and confident and excited. So we're excited to be here with you today.
Woo.
Jamie.
Good morning.
Good morning. Cheers. Nice seeing you.
Yes. Cheers. I have a very full coffee this morning, so I'm going to be careful how I cheers you, but cheers.
Yes.
Cheers.
I'm so excited to see you and so excited that today, after a billion days, you in a hotel promoting Believe It book launch, you get to go home.
Yes. I am so excited. It's been a crazy stretch. Talk about momentum. I've been in this hotel room for 21 days. 21 days. But I'm super filled up though with gratitude. I did a walk this morning, and I'm just like trying to appreciate the moment of everything. I'm so tired. Honestly, like I'm really. We've done so 2 live events. So from the time I got to the hotel room, it's been 21 days. We did 2 live events, 15 Growth Day morning shows, 6 QVC shows. So the last 48 hours,
Wow.
why I'm here so long is I had a live event on Sunday, but then went right into a midnight QVC show. Then yesterday had 4 QVC shows plus another keynote. So it's just a lot, but also great. But if you want the truth, this morning, I literally, no joke, someone will understand me in our Growth Day community. Because I have more shows today before I fly home. So I was doing my makeup. And then I looked in the mirror, and my eyebrow, this one, I drew it way up here. I'm like, oh, I got to go home. I'm so tired. At the end of 21 days, I drew my eyebrow, and I'm like, okay. So I had to take it off, redraw it. I'm like, this is a good time to go home, to take a breath, and then to build the momentum again, because I'm so passionate. I'm so passionate about what I'm doing, and it's, I believe in it so much. So that's what makes it exciting. But yeah, it's been a long stretch, and a lot of momentum building. And in some ways, I feel like too, it's just the beginning, right? Same for you. I mean, you've been working so hard on everything with Growth Day, and it's like, oh, but it's still just the beginning in so many ways.
I think that's the most important thing for people to get. It's like there's this hope that one day you don't have to keep the momentum going, or one day everything calms down completely. But if it's part of your purpose, you're always going to be working for it in some way. And it's not going to be easy. Yesterday I shot, I'm like, there's always something going on. Like right now, literally my little broadcasting here is just blowing up with all these, StreamYard's not connecting to Facebook, like all across them.
All is it working on Facebook or no? Yeah.
No, it doesn't look like it. It's
no.
Or is it?
It is in some pages. In some pages, apparently.
Yeah. Mine just went all these things saying it's not.
Oh, no.
So
okay.
It's like, but that's normal. It's something. Yeah. Yesterday, I tried to film a sales video, registration video for one of our programs. And if for my audience who knows me, they've seen me on stage talk all day, uninterrupted, no notes. All of my 20 plus online courses, I did in almost all of them in one take. Literally an hour-long teaching, one take, no problem. 7 different topics for 7 hours, no problem. Yesterday I had to shoot a 10-minute video. Took me 3 hours. 3 hours because halfway through I thought I nailed it. I was done. I was so excited. I wandered to the other room to get some water. I ran into Denise in the house, and she goes, "You have a bunch of toilet paper on your."
No!
And I was like, "What?" Ran in the other room, and I looked. I was like, I tried not to burst in tears because I was so tired. And I looked, and yet it looked like this little white mustache, and I was like, "Oh no!" So went back to my computer and pulled up the replay, and of course you can see it. And I thought it took me 20 takes to get that video. And I had to reshoot it over, which took me another like 10. And it was just brutal. It was just brutal. So anyone filming video, you know what I'm talking about. So give a shout out to some empathy or something down below, because we've all been through it before. It's kind of like you did your eyebrow. I had a white mustache going on.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
It's
so
like when
funny.
you are in launch window, I keep emphasizing to everyone, there's times in your life when you're launch window and it's so intense and it's so hard, and you have to work on your attitude, keep showing up every day. Like momentum is all about movement every day. Show up every day. Maybe you don't get to do 3 hours on your project today, but you get 20 minutes. Make it 20 minutes. Like imbue it with energy, you know? And maybe you only have, you know, you wished you had this time to do these other things and you only have this little window. That little window, make it count, you know? But launch windows, you also go a little bit batty in the brain, at least I do. You're drawing eyebrows, white mustache. And it's like you don't finish all your checklists of all the things you have to do. And guess what? That's life. Keep a positive attitude, keep chugging along.
You know, and I think too, giving ourselves grace is so important. Like when we hopped on this morning to get ready for the live, I was laughing with Sarah here because I was like, you know what? I still feel like if I had not caught that and I still had one eyebrow up here, I was like, Brendon would still love me. The Growth Day community.
I was like, Jamie, you look great. What's happening? Good morning.
Like, good morning. We're all family.
I wouldn't even, the best thing is I wouldn't even notice. That's the best thing. I wouldn't even notice. Denise would see it from 4,000 feet away. Me, I'm just Captain Oblivious. I'm in my message and in what I'm ever doing at the same time. I mean, anything could be happening. And I'm just so, like, Denise can walk into a room and I don't even know what's happening. You know, just,
yeah. So you and I would be live. I would get a text from Denise and then I would know. I'd be like, okay, thank you, Denise. I would go fix it. See, Paulo my husband Paulo, he wouldn't notice either. Actually, you know what's funny is when he and I met, he had one eyebrow all the way across and no idea. Now I love it. I think it's so cool. Like, I think
I love that you put that in your New York Times best-selling book for him. I remember reading that in the book. I was like,
you do? Well, I think it's just funny because, you know, he was such an important part of building It Cosmetics. And it's just funny that when we met, he would never notice anything like that. And when we actually developed eyebrow products in the early days, this is before we had a team, before we had clinical testing and chemists and all the stuff that you build as you build. But in the early days in our living room, when we would test eyebrow products, it was us, right? Jackie, who you know. And so we would draw different products and I would have to draw them on Paulo too, because we needed multiple data points, right? Anyone out there scrappy right now, launching their dreams, starting it in their living room, building it up, trying to like if y'all have asked your friends and family to be your focus groups, then you'll know what I'm talking about, right? And in those early years, it was like, even Paulo, there were days my sweet husband had all different eyebrows drawn with different pencils and he had to wear them. Like, no, this has to last 12 hours. You can't take it off. So we would work days in our living room with multiple eyebrows. Anyway, this morning with me just being so tired and drawing it up there just reminded me of that. But it's like fun times. And by the way, you know, a lot of people feel like if they're in their living room right now and they're just starting their dream and they're still drawing the eyebrows on their partners and they're still asking their friends and family to be their focus group and all that, like those days still are some of the most fun days of momentum. Because even though you're in this space where, you know, it doesn't feel like you're getting traction, you're still, that momentum, even in the start of something, even when it's like not glamorous, that momentum is still really powerful. And then I also, everyone I know who's gone through the scrappy years that were hard, and everyone I know looks back and those are like some of their fondest memories. You know, when you're in it, you're like, how do I see past it? Am I ever going to make it? Am I ever going to get traction? You think all those things, like, especially when you don't want to see your own ATM receipt because it's painful. Like, you know what I mean? You hit the no receipt thing like, that's what I did for years. And it's hard to see past it, but everyone I know who has that breakthrough, whose company builds, right? Those are some of their favorite times. And so I just want to call that out this morning, just saying, like, I'm so fondly thinking about, after misdrawing my own brow today, thinking about the days of Paulo and me and like all the eyebrows and Jackie. which by the way, Brendon, I was live on QVC last night with Jackie, which
Oh, that's
is
awesome.
so just full circle.
Yeah.
And so just to share with everyone, she was the very first employee we were able to hire full time at It Cosmetics. And we hired her when she was 6 months pregnant. She was a girlfriend of mine for so long, and we could barely afford to pay her. So we were able to pay her first before we ever paid ourselves. And she was kind of like all in this journey. And so to see her last night, such a boss, like she runs a few departments at It Cosmetics. She's live on QVC selling a today's special value, crushing her sales goal, all these things. And I'm sitting there going on with my book, right, last night. And all I'm doing is going, wow, look at my friend. Like, look at my friend. You know what I mean? Like, she's
Isn't
like
that great?
flying. Yeah, it's so great. And she's such a
Oh my
boss,
gosh.
and she, you know, she had a really, really tough upbringing, which I won't get into here, but, you know, she had a real tough childhood, and went from trailer park to trailer park to trailer park. And, you know, she's someone, well, I share her story in my book with her blessing, but, you know, she ran away finally from an abusive household, and the police officer that arrested her for running away, him and his wife ended up adopting her as
I
a
love that.
teenager. She ended up figuring out how to go to school, and she is just someone who has always believed where she comes from doesn't have to determine where she's going. And when I met her, I just knew, I'm like, this is really, and we met, Brendon, just to share with everyone really fast. Sorry to get off topic, but I just think these moments are really special in life, how you meet friends, and you never know who's going to walk into your life, who's supposed to be part of it. And she and I met by dating the same sketchy guy. Like, she was living with this guy. I met him in school, and we started dating. And then one day I get a knock on my door, and I open it. He's at my house hanging out. I get a knock on my door. I open the door, and there's this beautiful girl sobbing, and it was Jackie. And that was the first day we ever met. And I'm like, come in. And she came in, and her boyfriend lied, and he's like, you know, it was a long story. I tell that in the book too. But anyways, she and I eventually ended up getting rid of him and then becoming really great friends. And now it's been a 20-year friendship. And now she runs two departments at It Cosmetics. And anyways, you never know when you live life with an open heart, right? You never know like who's going to walk into your life at any moment and change it forever. And I think that's
I love that.
Anyway,
I
so it's a
love
special
that.
moment.
That's serendipity and grace. That's serendipity, it's grace. I want to jump into two things Jamie just shared that I hope you all caught. She shared that, you know, a lot of the founders she knows, business owners she knows, who they look back for those build years with real reverence and nostalgia and like gratitude. And so for those of you who are building right now, where you feel just like all this stress and doubt, just have faith that that stress and doubt becomes strength and development, right? That what happens one day, you get, because of the stress and doubt, you actually get stronger if you work through it. If you stop because of the stress and doubt, you always live there. But if you work through it, one day you get to look back at the stress and doubt or feel it as it is coming up less frequently because you've learned to master that side of your life. And suddenly you're grateful for it. I think that's so important. It's not that, and another shout out to Jamie, it's not that she doesn't have stress and doubt as she's launching her first book, but you can see it in her eyes in this morning show and on growth day, her energy, she's bringing joy to it this time. She's like having fun. I turned on the thing today because we do a pre-show before you guys get on, and she's just laughing and carrying on. I'm just observing my friend laughing and having a great time in the midst of a launch window. So you learn to do launches better. You learn to find peace. You learn to bring joy. You learn to feel the experience, and it gets different. And second thing I want to shout out about Jamie, which is what she just said, just watching her friend last night on QVC, which is just, I mean, what a beautiful story for International Women's Day yesterday. You know, here's Jamie celebrating her friend who's now getting a piece of the spotlight, you know. Culture where you see more people elevating and celebrating people, and we always say that, but where does that get operationalized? Like, I made that part of a growth day. We are like today, Lisa Bilyeu, for those who are on growth day today, Lisa Bilyeu from Women of Impact, co-founder of Quest Nutrition, co-founder of Impact Theory. She's on today as a Growth Day coach. So for those who aren't part of our members community, go to growthday.com or click the link in your post and join us, because she'll be live teaching and training. And it's just about, how do we take whatever we're doing? That's in my business. I'm just trying to how do we elevate these other voices who are incredible in our community? Because people got tired of me. So I was like, I want to put other people on, and they're just crushing it. And so how can you in your own life, is there a friend who needs some appreciation today or elevation today? Is there a team member who needs some empowerment today? Who can you lift up today? Is there somebody you could just send a positive audio text to? Growth Day members, I teach this, send 5 audio texts a day, or texts of appreciation to people, just to elevate them and lift their mood and spirit. No need for, some kind of return favor. It just send out goodness in the world. And you know what? The more goodness you send out, the more you get over yourself. A lot of people want to find happiness, and they think, well, I'll sit here and I'll meditate on my happiness all day. It's like, oh, you want to be happier? Send gratitude and prayer out for others.
Yeah.
And that will get your mind, the monkey mind, off of obsessing about your merry-go-round of doubts, and it'll put goodness into the world. Put goodness into the world, appreciate, elevate other people. And just hear how Jamie's talking about her friend Jackie. She's just so excited for her and celebrating her. And I've seen Jamie do that over and over for other women. So I hope you all will pick up her book, Believe It, because you're going to learn a mindset there of there is no competition when you're in your authenticity and you want to see other people rise up. It's a whole different path. And that's why she was able to go to this whole other level in building a billion-dollar business. So pick up Believe It if you haven't got it yet. And if you have got it, read those first 50 pages, tell all your friends. Let's keep the momentum going for Jamie on Believe It.
I've been in tears all week over some of the reviews. One woman said that when she was, reading the Believe It, she was cheering for me during all these hard stories. But by the time she finished the book, she realized she was cheering for herself again. Wow. And I was just like, one thing I want to say about Growth Day Coach or Growth Day with Lisa Bilyeu today. Oh my gosh. I'm so fired up that you have Lisa Bilyeu in Growth Day today, because she's so, first of all, she's brilliant. Second of all, so I was on a call with her and one other woman, Dia Sims, who is CEO of Labos, which is LeBron James tequila company. Wow. And she's been CEO of a bunch of companies. Anyways, one funny thing just to share really fast, we had this big moment. I just want to share it with everyone in the Growth Day community, because why not? We share everything else. But I had this moment on the phone with Lisa Bilyeu and Dia Sims, where the three of us realized all three of us had either built or run billion-dollar companies, all three of us. And also, all three of us had one other thing in common. I worked at Denny's as a waitress. Lisa Bilyeu worked at Burger King, flipping burgers.
Wow.
And Dia Sims worked at Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, making coffee lattes, teas. And I was like, this is amazing. Like we were bonding over our journeys, right?
I love that. I love that.
Either building billion-dollar companies or in Dia's case, working her way up. She started as an assistant with Sean Combs, P. Diddy Combs, worked her way all the way up to chief of staff, worked her way to CEO. Now she's literally co-owning and running billion-dollar businesses. Super cool story. But anyways, I was like, you know what? I love this so much, because a lot of times when we're in those moments in life, or we feel like we have things we want to create, or like things we want to do or offer or build or serve, and we're in those moments where we're not quite where we want to be yet. I just think it's so great to share these stories, because then we remember these things are possible for us.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
I'm excited you have Lisa Bilyeu today. That's going to be so fire today. She
so
brings it too.
She brings it. You guys, if you're not part of Growth Day, just go to growthday.com or click the link in the whatever post you're looking at. On Instagram, just go to growthday.com. I'll pin it later. But it's momentum. I mean, we are rolling out, new experiences, new coaches, things for our community. Our app comes out April 15th, finally. So it's just a whole different experience of something we're the momentum we're building in Growth Day is the same thing I'm asking each of you to develop in your life. daily significant actions towards your ideal lifestyle and dreams. What is that contribution you want to make? What are those passions? Or even if it's not achieving something, going deep on your interests and dorking out on the things that you like. It's not about having to build the next billion-dollar business for everybody. It's not about having, it might just be, you're gonna find more joy in being with the kids. You're gonna find more joy in writing on the side, even though you don't want to get published. Just, it's about pouring yourself more into the things that matter to you and stepping away from the things that don't. Like Denise and I take our morning walk today, and we were talking about, I think one of the big changing and a huge shift in my personal development came in 2012. I had a brain injury in 2011. In 2012, I was kind of coming out of it. It was just like the first couple of months I was coming out of it. I'd had a bunch of treatment for my, I had traumatic brain injury. I had really messed up my body in an ATV accident. I was a hurting unit. Took about a year to heal. And my company's going like this. And I'm trying to manage it all at the same time because I also didn't have enough team and support. And I'm just still studying personal development. I'm trying to figure out, like, how do I manage all this? How do I figure this out? And I read this great book, and I'm blanking the name of the author. Shoot, it'll come to me. Actually, I'm sorry, it was an article from a Harvard Business Review author. And he talked about the importance of understanding competing interests. And that if you really want focus or momentum or discipline, or you want to achieve great things in life, you have to understand that competing interests, that most people don't achieve great things, not because they're not capable or don't have the skills or they didn't decide to. It's competing interests. It's that, oh, I would love to put 7 hours into this dream today, but I have the kids. Competing interests, right? They're both things you want. You want to be a great mom and you want to do this thing. That's a competing. It's hard to balance and prioritize and manage all that, right? It's like Jamie and I both doing this morning show. We have competing interests. She could be on a plane home already to her family. You know, we could be doing other types of marketing and things. We do this because it's passionate. It's tied to our heart and our contributions. Everybody has, like Jamie, the least big financial thing she could do in her life was a book launch, right? Right? There's always other choices.
Yeah.
And you have to look at all those interests. She could go and invest in 10 companies, right? But she decided to write a book. It's those choices of, yes, I can do this, but I'm gonna choose this one because it's more true who I am with where I'm at. I'm gonna pour myself into this, knowing I'm gonna have to say no to a lot of those other things that are interesting, that I would like to do. And that is the secret to getting momentum. Being a way to turn away from things without the FOMO, and just be like, that's not going to be the thing in this hour or in this day or in this week or in this launch window. Right now, this is the thing. I'm going to pour myself into it. And doing that on a consistent basis is where you get that real momentum, that real skill development, that real breakthrough.
So good. And I love that you said this, because I think a big thing about competing interests too comes down to sometimes the things we're good at that everyone wants us to do might not be the things that fill our soul. Right? And so then we feel like we're not getting momentum in the things that, like, in joy or fulfillment or whatever, because sometimes it feels good to do things we're good at or that people want us to do. You know, I've thought about that a lot in this past year. You know,
yes.
And because some of the things I've done in the past and the skills I've acquired, I now could continue to do that. But I also need to just pause and go, okay, just because maybe I'm good at this one thing, is that really what's filling my soul? And I think it's important to make that distinguishment between. One other thing I want to call out that you said that I think is so powerful is that it's not even about, oh, I need to build a business, right? Like, it could be an internal thing, right? And I pulled this up because I was just like, I was on my morning walk today, and at the end of it, I usually just check on my phone really fast, and I saw something you posted this morning. I just want to read it. You posted it on your Instagram, but I think it's so powerful because it kind of talks about what you just said. And a lot of people are looking at how do they build momentum in their lives, and sometimes it's easy to think it's an outward thing. And you wrote, only two things change your life. Either something new comes into your life or something new comes from within, right? Comes from within. And I think that's so powerful with this idea of building momentum and how it can be something new or even a focus that comes from within. I think that was super, super good.
Thank you. Thank you. That's where and what people do is they hope that something else comes into their life, the lottery, Mr. Perfect, Mrs. Thang, the new car, the new house, the new place. And then they arrive there or have that, and it's not all that they thought it was, or that never shows up. And what should have been for the truth, which is all of our journeys. I've always learned this. Each of our journey is really about uncovering and discovering and releasing the real power of who we are.
Mm-hmm.
Like tapping into and summoning that real greatness, tapping into and sensing that real courage and letting it up. Stop blocking it with your childhood stuff. Stop blocking it with what happened yesterday. Stop blocking with the other things, because what happens is we take all of our innate beauty and powers and authenticity, and we try to mold it into what the world is. And then what happens, we don't feel like ourselves anymore. And now getting momentum isn't even fun, because we're building towards something that isn't even us. You want to know why people lose motivation? Is because often they're living other people's lives. When you find your thing and you live in alignment with your thing each day, and you live in alignment with your ideal lifestyle, and you make the choices that are hard to do the things that are important to you, you become happier. You find your flow. I'll give you another example of competing interest. Like the other day, we're out on our walk. Denise and I just walk a lot. Let me tell you all. We walk a lot.
So great.
I know I don't know. It's like 2-4 miles. I mean, it's a lot. And she knows, because she keeps a little tracker thing on her, and she knows I just wander around like a crazy nutty professor outside. I just say, I'm in Puerto Rico. I'd end up in Cuba if I wasn't paying attention. It's like, I don't know. But we were talking, and I have a very difficult 60 days coming up. We're launching the app. There's some huge news going to come out about one of our companies in the next 2 weeks. We are just like, it's otherworldly momentum and challenge and growth that's just like not even describable. And I was just talking about, needing support and how difficult it's going to be. And I was thinking about competing interests. I'm have to give up some things that I really love to do in order to manage this all the time, right? And your launch, just like in your launch window, you were at home with your family during a significant time. That's hard. Sometimes those choices are made. You have to make them with your family and your teams, but they're hard. And one of the things I thought about is like, okay, well, I have my morning routine. Some of you all know my morning routine, 20-20-20s, which is, 20 minutes of movement, 20 minutes of reading, and 20 minutes of planning the day. And I said, you know what? I'm going to cut out the reading in the morning. It's, often, because I'll read for 20 minutes, it ends up being an hour. And I said, you know what? I'll cut out reading in the morning. And then today, as we were talking about competing interests, that conversation flashed in my mind. I thought, I'm not going to do that. Is it better for me to use that 20 minutes or that hour to do marketing videos or ads? Absolutely. Is it better for me to use that time to call affiliates or call investors? Absolutely. Is it better to use that time to connect with team? Absolutely. And that's my mental health. That's my self-care. That's my time. That every other thing could be stacked up to argue that is what I should be doing. I'm not going to stop doing it, because that's my thing. That is aligning with my lifestyle that I want, not just something that could be better or move something forward. So these are the tough choices we have to make. But when you make the right ones for you, you are happier. You are more in flow. I know if I cut that out in the morning, somewhere throughout the rest of the day, I'd be a little brat or a grumpy bear, because that aligns my, like by reading personal development in the morning, it aligns my brain and my character and my soul to goodness and to positivity and to the ideals that I can get better and I can help and serve people. I got to protect that, even though this would make me more money.
Right.
So competing interests. And when you got the choice, choose the one that is more true, as Oprah would say, to the highest, best version of yourself. And you will find yourself in flow, more happy, and more momentum will come into your life.
That's so good. Yeah, so powerful and good choice. And I'm happy for Denise you made that choice so that you're not
Me too.
So that,
And
that's
the cat will survive so many more days
and
on
the
this
cat. Hey,
planet.
one thing I want to share before we end, just because I just got this in real life, and I want to say thank you to the whole Growth Day community. But I have the real Wall Street Journal, the real Wall Street Journal that says "Believe it" is number one. Believe it is number one. The real paper, and I just was looking at it this morning, and I'm like, it's real. It's real, and how amazing is that? And I love, I'm donating 100% of the proceeds from the book. And so what makes me so fired up is like I know a lot of times people see lists like this, whether it's New York Times or Wall Street Journal number one, and they're like, oh, and that's how they sometimes hear about the book for the first time. And so I feel like the more people that hear about it and spread the word,
Yes.
hopefully the book impacts their life in a big way, but it's also going to like be such a force for good beyond just the book itself, in terms of all the proceeds being donated. So I'm super fired up, and I saw that this morning, and I was like, okay. So after the eyebrow up here, I fixed it, but then I saw that, I'm like, it's a good morning. It's a good morning.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's such a good morning. It's such a good morning. It's a good morning to be here with you guys. Thank you for joining us in the Growth Day Morning Show. We're here weekdays, 7:30 a.m. Pacific for you every weekday. We just try to we try to tell you a little about our journey and what we're working on and what we're learning in our lives and the decisions we're making, kind of like today. And we try to just be a force of encouragement in your life, because none of us are perfect. All of us are trying to get better. And I'll end as I always do. You are so stronger than you think. The future holds good things for you. You get to wake up every day and choose a new attitude, choose a new energy. You get to focus on what's important to you. Every day is a good day to grow. So if you're not in our Growth Day community, please go to growthday.com, get yourself signed up, or click the link in the post if you're watching a replay, and join us, because we've got unbelievable coaches who go live for you every week to keep you on your A game. Life is a struggle alone, but together and with the right mentors, there's breakthroughs, there's joy, there's a different level of meaning and contribution, but you got to be part of an awesome community. So join us at growthday.com. Jamie, congratulations on the book. Make sure you've all got your copy of Believe It, and spread the message. Let's keep momentum going for her book, for this goodness this woman brings into the world every day. And Jamie, safe flight home to see your family after 15 days.
Yeah, 21 days.
Oh my gosh.
It's been 21 days, but it's good. I'm so excited. I'm going to cry like my eyebrows off today. So yeah, it's going to be
all right,
good.
everybody, go have a growth day. Thank you. Woo!